Hello everyone, and welcome to another green marble crochet tutorial. Thank you for joining me. For this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make this shoulderless crop top sweater thingy using this yarn and a 5mm hook. I opted for a blue colour just because the grey that I envisioned it being before, just, I don't know, wasn't attracted to it. Yes. So I will be moving through this tutorial fairly quickly, just, because my phone still can't handle too much storage. I apologise if it's not as clear and concise as it could be. I'll do my best to make it so. Yes. This design is based off the simple halter neck that I made. As you can see, it's the halter neck but with sleeves. Yes, so we'll be doing that. Like I said, I apologise if I go too fast. If you have any questions, I'm always here for, just chat or ask questions. Yeah, and I appreciate feedback also, so anything I can do to help make tutorials clearer, better. And we all learn as we go. Alright, let's begin. Alright, so to begin, I'm going to start by making the collar. And to begin, I'm going to make a slip knot. So make a slip knot and chain 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now, skipping the first chain from the hook, so that one just there, I'm going to be putting a single crochet into the next chain along. And then I'll put a single crochet into each chain till I get all the way back to the beginning, and there will be 10 single crochets. There are my 10 single crochets. Alright, the next step is to chain up one, turn the work, and we're going to be putting our first single crochet through the entire of the first stitch. So what I mean by that is, you see on the top just there's a V, and we want to go in through the side beneath the whole of that V, just like that. And then for stitches 2 through to 9, we're going to be putting our single crochets into the top back part of that V on the top. So let's focus, and the top back part, so just through there. So that's for stitches 2 through to 9, and then when you get to the 10th stitch, you'll be putting a single crochet through the entire of the stitch again. So here I am at the 10th stitch, so just getting right in there. Put our single crochet through the entire of that stitch. Like that. There we go. Row 2. Alright, next step is to chain up one, turn work, and just repeat exactly what you did for the previous row. So that's the first single crochet through the entire of the stitch, then stitches 2 through to 9 are through the top back part of the V of each stitch, then the 10th stitch is through the entirety of the stitch again. And you're going to continue doing that until you've reached the amount of rows that you'll need for the collar to fit comfortably, obviously comfortably around your neck, and also to be able to fit comfortably over your head when you join it. Okay, so for me, based off this yarn that I'm using, which I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and say it's like medium to chunky, I guess, I'm going to be doing 60 rows. Which means that my stitch count will be 20 stitches to begin with for the front and the back, and for the shoulder spaces it will be a stitch count of 10 stitches each. But once I've finished the collar, or once I've done my 60 rows, we'll meet back up and I'll show you where to go from there. So yeah, just continue as you've been doing. So that's a single crochet. So chain up one, single crochet through the entire of the first stitch, then in through the top back part of stitches 2 through to 9, and then a single crochet through the entire of the 10th stitch. Alright, and we'll meet back up once we've reached the amount of rows we need for our collar. Alright, now that I've finished my 60 rows, I'm going to join the ends together. So to do that, we fold in half, lining up the ends. Now I'm not going to chain up one, I'm just going to go straight into that stitch, so just like that, and I'm going to slip stitch it into its corresponding foundation chain on the other end. So just in through there and slip stitch, just like that, and then go along, and for each stitch, each of the 10 stitches, we're going to slip stitch it to its corresponding foundation chain on the other end. So we do that, you should end up with 10 of those. Alright, here I am on my 10th and final slip stitch for the collar. And just like that. And there we go. Now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to snip off the yarn and secure it. Well, bind off for the moment, just like that. Now, so I've got 60 rows and I'm going to have 20 stitches at the front and 20 stitches at the back. So what you're going to do now is turn it inside out, so just like this, turning inside out, and keep your eye on the back just there. So there you go, that's where you bound off. And we're going to mark out 20 stitches at the front and 20 stitches at the back, and I just do that with pieces of string. Okay, and there I've marked out 20 stitches at the front and 20 stitches at the back. So there should be 10 stitches on either side of that join in the middle just there. And we'll be starting our work on the back. So we'll start our work on the back section and start with the increased sections facing up. So sort of up like this, facing away from you. Okay, grab a fresh piece of yarn and make a slip knot. Now I'm going to adjust that slip knot to the space that I've marked out where I'm going to begin work on the back, and I'm going to chain up one. Now I'm going to put a double crochet into that same space. Double crochet, just like that. Now into the next space along, into the end of the next row along, I'm going to put 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. And that's how we're increasing. We are putting 2 double crochets into every second stitch and into every second last stitch. So by the end of this row you should end up with 22 stitches. So yeah, 11 on each side of that join. So what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, then into the end of the next row. And the ends of the rows, it's really easy to see where you need to put your stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all the way to the other end where you'll put 2 stitches into the second last end of the row, and then 1 into the space where you've marked out. Okay, here I am at the second last end of the row, and so I'll be putting 20 and 21 into that same space, and then 22 into the place where I've put my stitch marker. Like that. And that's the first row, and there should be 21 stitches. Okay, what we do next is we chain up 1, turn the work, put a double crochet into the first stitch. So just like that. Always only chain up 1 at the beginning of a row. Don't chain up 2. I just think it looks better. Okay, and into the next stitch we put 2 double crochets, 2 into that next stitch, and then all the way along till you get to the second last stitch where you put another 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and you will end up with a total of 24 stitches by the end of this row. And here I am at the second last stitch, where I will be putting 22 and 23 into the same stitch, and then into that last stitch right on the end there is 24. 24, just like that, and there we go, and there we have increased twice. Okay, so what I suggest we do is we go away and we complete 5 rows of these increases, and then we meet back up, and I'm going to try it on for you and show you how it's going to look, and you might get a rough idea of how many stitches, and you can try your own on as well, and we can get a rough idea of how many rows we'll need to do before we start work on the arms. Okay, so this is on back to front, but I wanted to give you an idea of what's going on and how it should start to look. I've done my 5 rows of increase, so that's 22 stitches for the first row, building up to 30 stitches for the 5th row, so increasing 2 stitches each row. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror what we've done on the back for the front. So you're going to do exactly the same thing between those front stitch markers. And I think that's a really good place to start, to stop and start work on the sleeves. So we'll go away, we'll complete our 5 rows of increases for the front, and then we'll meet back up and I'll show you how to start work on the sleeves.